Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing my top 8 favorite luxury foundations. I didn't set out to hit a specific number. I simply opened up my complexion drawer where I store all of my concealers and foundations. I picked out all of my favorites, and there happens to be 8 of them. So these are the foundations that I really rely on for multiple scenarios. There's a good range here. Some are more lightweight, there's medium coverage, full coverage, best for summertime, best for photography, something in here for everyone. And I chose these as the best based off of multiple criteria. So longevity, how they look on the skin overall. These are by far my most complimented foundations. And there's probably not going to be a lot of huge surprises in here. If you regularly watch my videos, they will be familiar. But there's at least one surprise that I am saving until the very end. Now, it would be nearly impossible for me to rank these foundations in order, but I am going to end with my number 1 favorite foundation, hands down. The rest are in no particular order. But I want to set your expectations right off the bat. I'm not going to be applying each of these foundations in today's video for a couple different reasons. One, I think it's just going to be too wasteful to apply a foundation, remove it, apply a different foundation, etc. 8 different times. It's just too much. And also not all of these foundations would match me right now. I sunless tan and sometimes I apply it once or twice. So sometimes I'm really pale, sometimes I'm sort of a medium shade, and then other times I can get pretty tan depending on where I am with my sunless tanner. So I pick up foundations accordingly. So some of these are going to be really pale, some of them are going to be pretty deep. They wouldn't all match me and that would just look insane on my face. What I'm gonna do instead is if I have a video or a foundation 411 or tutorial somewhere where I'm applying the foundation, I'm gonna link it down below in the description box. That way, if there's something that interests you, you can check out more videos to see the foundation in action. And without further ado, let's jump right in. I'm going to begin with my Soleil Blanc Flawless Glow Foundation from Tom Ford. This is a relatively new favorite, but it almost instantly joined the list because I don't have anything else that I can compare it to. I love that it's a serum foundation, so this goes on so thin, so lightweight, and it's a sheer to medium coverage, which I didn't think I would initially like, and I found that I love it, especially over the summer. This is the perfect summer weight foundation. If you're somebody who likes a little bit of coverage, but you don't like to feel heavy, you don't like a cake face, this is perfect for you. So it has SPF 30. It also has, I believe, watermelon, lychee seed, and apple extract. So there are botanicals, it has anti-aging serum, skincare benefits, etc. So it really is just a beautiful foundation, but also just the finish on the skin. I love that it's lightweight. It has a little bit of glow to it, but if you do have oily skin or you're somewhat combination, you could set with a powder and you would be fine. I have found that applying this with my fingers gives me the best result. I love the way it wears throughout the day, and I just think that this is something that could be your everyday foundation. It really is that beautiful. My second favorite foundation is another lightweight option. This is the Touche Éclat All-in-One Glow from YSL, and you've probably seen this a lot on my channel. It's because I love it so much and I truly use it all the time. It has almost a tinted moisturizer, lightweight mousse texture, but if you apply it with a brush, especially a synthetic brush, you can stipple it and build up coverage in places that you need it. So I really do consider this to be a foundation, and I know a lot of people who use this every single day and it's just their weekday face product and they love it. So I love this for a couple different reasons. It does have SPF 23. Just kind of a random number. It's not a ton, but it does have something in there. It's oil-free and it's water-based, so it's hydrating. It's going to leave you looking glowy, but not too dewy and not greasy. It never feels heavy on the skin. This is truly just a lightweight product, and I know people say lightweight all the time to describe different foundations, but truly this is such a light mousse texture. You could apply this entire bottle to your face and it's not going to feel heavy. Just the product itself is physically light. So it looks beautiful. It looks super natural. It's very easy to use. I think this is kind of a no-brainer type of product. You could throw this in your gym bag. You could use this to run errands, to take with you on vacation. It's very portable because it comes in the little squeezy tube. So it's just so easy, and yet it almost looks like effortless makeup. It really is stunning. This is one of my favorite foundation products ever. Next up, I have the Dior Forever Skin Glow Foundation. This launched in January of this year, I believe, almost simultaneously as the Chanel Le Tint Foundation. And this replaced the Dior Skin Forever. So they launched two. They got rid of Dior Skin Forever and they came out with Dior Forever and Dior Forever Skin Glow, which this is the dewy sister to the original, which was a completely matte longwear foundation. This is a luminous longwear foundation, which is very hard to find. It has medium to full coverage, but I find that they did such a beautiful job with this foundation because even someone like myself who does tend to get oily in the T-zone, I can wear this throughout the day and I don't feel like I need to blot or go in with more powder. I don't feel like it's heavy or that I'm too dewy, which I think is very difficult to find. Now, if you like a matte finish, this probably isn't for you, but even if you like a little bit of glow or just a natural finish, I think you would love this. But this is great for photography. So if you have a wedding, if you're attending a special event, you know there's gonna be photos. It doesn't have an SPF, so you're not gonna get a flashback, but it is a long wear foundation. So I think it's something crazy, like they tout 24-hour wear. I don't know why you would ever need to have foundation last 24 hours, but certainly if you are applying it before you go into the office in the morning and you want something that will last through happy hour, this would be a great option for you. Next up, we have the Ultra Le Tint Foundation from Chanel, which, as I mentioned, launched earlier this year, and this was designed to replace the Ultra Tenue Longwear Foundation, which had a very sticky dry down. It was a little bit complicated to work with, and that had replaced the Perfection Lumiere Foundation, which is no longer available, at least here in the States. I sometimes see comments from people saying that they still are able to get their Perfection Lumiere, and I am so jealous because that was such a beautiful foundation. But Chanel really needed a full coverage or medium to full buildable long wearing foundation, and this is the new kid on the block, relatively speaking. This is such an upgrade from the previous formula. I think it was almost like a sigh of relief whenever I first tried this and thought, wow, okay, they got rid of that sticky formula, they really improved it. But this stands alone as being a top foundation because it can be very tricky to find a long-wearing, full coverage, matte foundation. It ends up looking cakey or heavy, or it just sits looking dull, and it almost forms like a mask on the skin. And if it has a matte finish, it can just look tired. It just does not do anything to give you health or vibrancy or radiance. So something like this is perfect because it's a really soft finish. It is matte, but it's a natural matte. It's not too powdery. You know, it doesn't have that really harsh finish. And also, if you wanted to boost radiance in this foundation, you could add a liquid illuminator. But why I love this so much is that it goes on like a dream. Another great full coverage long wear option is the Givenchy Teint Couture Everwear foundation. This is the foundation that I'm wearing on my skin today. It instantly became one of my favorites because of the finish. It is so unique. It is described as a satin finish. I'm not sure what that is supposed to mean or if that means anything to you, but to me, in my experience, whenever I wear this foundation, it just gives me this perfect natural finish. If I could create a foundation that had the ideal finish, just not too dewy, not too matte, very natural looking, this would be the foundation finish that I would create, honestly. It is different from anything else that I have. It's different from the Dior, it's different from the Chanel. It is perfection in a bottle in terms of the finish. Now, in terms of the shade range, you really have to be careful. There's not a ton of shades, so if you can find something that matches you, you're in luck because this truly has the best finish for a full coverage longwear foundation. It's the perfect combination. It has SPF 20, it's supposed to be 24-hour wear, which again, you probably don't need to wear it for 24 hours, but this would be really great for anybody with hyperpigmentation, post-blemish marks, because in my opinion, this is probably the most full coverage foundation of any others on the list. So it's going to be really great for anybody who needs that coverage because they have some sort of skin concern, but they want to have a natural finish. Next, I have the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick. This is such a great foundation for so many different reasons. It's sheer to medium to full. So this is probably the most versatile product out of any of the others on this list. It's also great for touch-up. So if you have a blemish, for example, right here, I used a little bit of this foundation and just sort of tapped it on. It's really portable. So again, you can just kind of throw this in your bag, travel with it. And if you go in really lightly, you could just achieve very minimal coverage. If you're a full coverage loving person, you could still use this foundation. So I love a product that is so multi-use that kind of fits into so many different scenarios, and this is one of those products for me. I love the way it looks on the skin regardless of how it's used. If you're using just a small amount or going big with this foundation, it looks really beautiful. This has a matte finish, but I don't find it to be overly matte. So again, it just sort of has that natural skin look. And I mean, I could go on and on about how much I love this foundation. It's not something that I've talked about or used a lot recently, but years ago, back whenever I lived in Nashville, I actually really liked this product. So I figured I had to include it on the list because it really is one of my favorite luxury foundations. Well, we have reached the final two foundations. I know you're probably wondering what number one is going to be. Number two is the Sublimage Le Tint. I love this foundation. There's not a lot of bad things I can say about it. If you don't prefer a jar, maybe that bothers you. But in terms of how it looks on the skin, how it applies, how it feels, it is just so stunning. And especially if you maybe have mature skin and you're looking for something with skincare ingredients, this is perfect for you. It gives really great coverage, but again has that very natural finish. So it's never going to look super heavy or super cakey. It's just going to even out your complexion, maintain that radiance and that healthy hydration, and it lasts. It's just a really beautiful formula. I would say that these run a little bit light. They don't have the best shade range. But again, I'm sort of nitpicking. There's no other foundation that leaves my skin feeling better. All of these foundations that I've talked about today, they're great foundations, but I always remove them at the end of the day and I think, okay, fresh face. Sublimage is the only foundation that when I remove it, I feel like my skin just had like a facial. Like it leaves my skin feeling better after I've worn this all day. It's the strangest thing because it is makeup and it is relatively full coverage, but it's just so beautiful. And here it is, the final foundation. My number one favorite luxury foundation is Airflash from Dior. Woo! I know there's like fireworks going off. No, but honestly, this is my number one favorite foundation. And you've seen it a lot on my channel, but it still might surprise you to hear that it is number one. But I will tell you that this is my number one most complimented foundation. I work in cosmetics and I'm surrounded by beauty junkies all day long, every day of the week just about. So we're always kind of constantly talking about products, trying something new, and I find myself getting into makeup ruts, if you will, where I'll sort of pull out a foundation on Monday and that's my foundation for the week. And I'll sort of rotate a new foundation maybe the following week, but I kind of experiment with different things. Every time I go back to Airflash and I wear this, people stop me and say, what is on your skin? What are you wearing? What did you do different today? This is also the foundation that I wore on my wedding day, so I think that says a lot. I had several foundations in mind, and when the morning came and I was applying my foundation, this is what I grabbed, and I didn't really think twice about it. I wasn't really concerned. I just wore Airflash. So this is something that I highly recommend if you haven't tried it. It looks so beautiful on the skin. It makes you look airbrushed. It's soft and somewhat glowy, but not overly dewy. I mean, this is sort of perfection in a bottle, and I just cannot say enough great things about Dior Airflash. It will always be my number one. I recently had somebody ask me if you could only wear one foundation, what would it be? And that is such a tough question because, you know, different foundations are best in different scenarios, but I said Airflash. I mean, this would be it. Now, if you made it to the end of the video and you're wondering what was the big surprise, there's one foundation that I've worn a lot on my channel and it's no longer on the list. And that is, sad to say it, the Lancome Tinty Doll. This is a foundation that I've worn for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. I remember my sister wearing this in high school, and so I wanted to wear it. So I started wearing this back then. I'm not even sure it had the same name, but it was some sort of original formula of the Tintidol. I recently fell into one of my makeup ruts. As I mentioned, I pulled this out on a Monday and I was just wearing the foundation and sort of going through the motions, and this was something that I always have had on hand. I think that I've gone through my backup, but I have always kind of had a backup to the backup. This is a foundation that I've kept stocked in multiple shades because I just loved it that much. When I was wearing this foundation, nobody really said anything, and then one day I came into work and I had pulled out my Airflash. And in that one day, I cannot tell you how many people stopped me and said, "Oh my gosh, your makeup looks so much better today. What did you do differently? Yada, yada, yada." They were so complimentary of my face with the Airflash, and I had previously been wearing my Tintidol. So to me, I feel like, how can I possibly keep restocking this when I know that there's a foundation out there that looks so much better on my skin? And I think sometimes we get into a rut and we're used to seeing our face a certain way and doing our makeup a certain way. So we kind of stop asking questions and trying to find something new, and we just kind of get into our routine. And it's nice for other people to stop us and kind of shake up the routine, to say, hey, whatever you did differently, yeah, keep doing that instead, because this really works best for you. That was a wake-up call moment, and from now on, I will probably not be restocking my Lancome Tintidol foundation. So that's the big surprise, the big bomb dropped. It's still a lovely formula. I would still recommend this to people, and I'm not saying go out and throw away your Tintidol foundation. If that's a foundation that you love, that works for you, I was right there with you for years, so I completely understand and see why you would love that foundation and swear by it. It's just for me, with my current skin type, with my current skin situation, I've just found other products that work better, and so I'll just no longer be going back to that. Moving forward, I am a Dior Airflash girl. And that completes today's video. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me any of your comments or your questions down below. If you have any favorite recommendations that you'd like to add to the list, definitely drop me a comment so we can keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking all of the products that I used today on my face down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.